What's up, everyone? I'm JJ Stankevitz. Welcome into another episode of Instant Reaction here on the Colts Audio Network. I'm joined every week by Colts Ring of Honor wide receiver Bill Brooks as we break down the Colts' latest game. The Colts, Bill, opened the 2024 season with a 29-27 loss to the Houston Texans. A lot to get into. For anyone who's listening, watching, sorry my audio isn't very good, having some microphone issues, but we wanted to make sure we got this episode out to you because, again, Bill, plenty to talk about with the Colts season opener. The thing that jumped out to me as I left the stadium and as I thought about it, the Colts stinks they lost this game. The thing that I kept going back to, Bill, was like, man, did you see Anthony Richardson play football today? Did you see it? Because I saw it, and that was remarkable what he was able to do on the field today.
Yeah, he made some exciting plays out there today on the field. You know, that touchdown to Alec Pierce there where he was dropping back and he lost his footing for a second there, gathered himself and threw the ball down the field and made a big play to Alec, and Alec took it into the end zone. So those are the type of plays that we expect to see from Anthony, big plays like that. Or the other play he threw down the field to Ashton Dulin. Dulin makes a nice catch, takes it into the end zone for a touchdown. So those are some of the plays that we expect from him. And to me, the big fourth down play, the running around the end there and kind of imposing his will on someone, running someone over and getting into the end zone when he needed to get in the end zone, that fourth down. So those are the type of plays that we are excited about from Anthony Richardson. And I know the players are excited about it too, because he can make those type of big plays. And those are the type of plays, explosive plays, that are going to help this Colts offense.
So let's talk about that one to Alec that kind of opened the scoring. It traveled 65.3 yards in the air, Bill. According to Next Gen Stats, that is the third longest pass that they have ever tracked. So just the sheer distance that he threw that ball. But like if he had stepped up in a clean pocket and he had been able to, have a stride to really step into that throw, you'd be like, man, that was still an incredible throw. He threw it with such accuracy downfield. Alec Pierce didn't have to decelerate a whole lot to go get it. But then you think about, Bill, that Anthony Richardson lost his footing before he threw it. And then he somehow regained his footing, was feeling pressure from the right, so he slid a little bit to the left and then threw it downfield. Like the fact that he could even access that throw in his brain, let alone complete it, is just like I don't think there's another quarterback in the NFL, another quarterback who's playing football currently, who can do what he did on that play.
Exactly. I mean, you think about it, he has to have a lot of confidence in his ability for, as I said earlier, he lost his footing, someone's in his face, he's getting pressure, but he still felt that he can get that ball to Alec down the field. And that was a long throw. It's not like he was throwing a ball 10 yards or 5 yards out to the flat. He was unleashing that ball down the field to Alec, and Alec made a nice catch and he made a nice route and caught the ball. So that says a lot about Anthony, what he believes in himself as far as his ability to get the ball down the field and to keep his composure to throw it in that situation.
You know where my mind just went, Bill, on this was there was an ESPN commercial, or I think it was a Nike commercial maybe, from like 2000, where it was like Michael Vick kneeling and he threw the ball like the length of the football field. It was clearly doctored. You didn't have to doctor anything about what Anthony Richardson did there, throwing the ball 65 yards. Like, I don't know, maybe you tell him, hey, go kneel at the goal line. He could actually throw it 100 yards if he really wanted to. But for him to be able to make that play, and really at any point in this game, you're just like, he could come up with an explosive play. As a former player, Bill, when you know you have a player who can do that, who keeps you in every game because of his playmaking ability, what does that do for the general mood on the sideline? If you're losing, if things aren't maybe going your way, how does that kind of keep spirits up and keep confidence up for a player in a game like that?
Well, what it does for you is that no matter what happens in the game, if things aren't going well for you, say you're not winning or you're down by multiple scores and you need to come back and win the game, or in the second half, you're down multiple scores, you know, with a guy like that, you still have a chance in the game. You still have a chance to win a game. And no matter what the score is, you don't feel like you're out of a game. And that's a good feeling. That means that you feel comfortable. You're excited about it. You know you have a chance. And that's all you want. You want a chance every time you step out there in the football field. And with Anthony Richardson, you have a chance to win football games with an individual with that type of ability. And to be able to do the things that he can do on the football field, it gives you a lot of confidence knowing that, hey, we're in every game. And you know what? No matter what the score is, we can come back and possibly win a game.
I mean, just his like the stuff he can access as a quarterback is stuff that most other quarterbacks can't even think about doing. Most other quarterbacks, if they lose their footing on a shot play, all right, like we got to check it down. We got to get the ball out. Okay, yeah, Alec might have a step downfield, but I can't get him the ball because I can't step into this. Anthony Richardson doesn't have any of that. He can still access it. He can still say, yes, I think I can make that play, and then he goes and makes it. And, he goes and does the same thing with Alec later in the game. He did step into that one a little bit more, but that one traveled 60 plus yards in the air too, coming on 3rd and 15 in a situation where the Colts had to have an explosive play. The other one, Bill, that Richardson had was the 54-yard touchdown to Ashton Dulin, where that one, the zip that he was able to put on that ball, and I know we're going to get into some of the misses he had and maybe, some throws where maybe he needs a little bit more touch on that. But the fact that he threw that ball and it probably didn't go more than 10 yards off the ground. And the pace it had on it, Azeez Al-Shire was the linebacker who was in coverage. And by the time he reacts to the ball, it's in his hands and Doolin's going for the end zone. And Al-Shire, if you look at it, he's like whiffing at it. I don't know if he's whiffing at the ball or if he's whiffing at Ashton Dulin, but I equate it, Bill, to like if I faced prime Randy Johnson, that's how late on his fastball I would be. Was like how late Azeez Al-Shire was on that ball because it had so much pace on it. That's another throw, Bill. Just such a remarkable play by the Colts quarterback that, again, if you need an explosive play at any moment, Anthony Richardson can deliver one.
He can do it. Now he can put zip on the ball where he needs to zip it in there and get it past someone so he can hit the receiver in stride there. And the receiver can catch it and take it to the house, which Ashton did. And it's great to see Ashton out there making big plays. But Anthony has that type of talent. He's one of those individuals that, you know what, he has probably talent that he doesn't even know yet that he has, that he can, some of the things he can do out there in the football field. Very talented young man, very gifted, and he can throw the ball. I mean, we talked about it before. I mean, his rookie year, the time in practice and training camp, he rolls to the left and he flicks the ball with his right hand down the field. In training camp, his rookie year, and Alec caught the ball and was like, oh my goodness, this guy's rolling left and throwing it back. I think it was about 50 yards during that practice. So it's one of those things where as a young man that has a lot of talent, I want to see him develop that talent as he goes along in his career. And I think if he continues to develop and grow, we're going to see a lot more explosive plays like that from him.
So a couple of misses in this game for Anthony Richardson, Bill, both of them, I think the biggest ones are to A.D. Mitchell, where he had the one down the far sideline where they're driving in Texans territory. Mitchell gets open and Richardson kind of maybe hitches a little bit and then throws it and misses Mitchell, overthrows him a little bit. And then the other one was another one to Mitchell. There was illegal contact, I believe, called on that play. Maybe that impacted Mitchell, but another one that was down the far sideline going the other way toward the south end zone that he missed. Just, Shane Steichen chalked it up after the game, Bill, to like quarterbacks are going to miss throws. It's going to happen. The thing that maybe I go back to here with those is like, if that were a lot of other quarterbacks around the NFL and they missed that throw and it's like, oh my gosh, that's the only time we're going to get a guy open downfield. That was our one chance. You're going to have 5 or 6 of those chances with Anthony Richardson. And if he hits 3 of them, like he did today, you're still in pretty good shape as an offense. You'd obviously love to have those, especially the one in the end zone to Mitchell that you wound up having the interception a couple plays later. But you can live with those misses with Anthony Richardson a little bit more than you could with a lot of other quarterbacks.
Yeah, especially right now as he continues to grow and develops, you're going to have some of those plays. Like Shane says, quarterbacks are going to miss sometimes once in a while. Look, some of the veterans, the guys that have been around the league 10, 11 years, they miss throws here and there. It's going to happen in the National Football League. We would love for everyone to be perfect, but that just does not happen in this league. So yes, he's going to miss some plays, but I'm sure Anthony and of course the team would love to have those plays back where Anthony hits AD in stride, and that he can go down and score and make a big play, stuff like that. But as you said, the way this offense is structured and the talent that we have right now at wide receiver and the talent at quarterback, you're going to have multiple opportunities to make big plays on a Sunday or whenever we're playing Sunday night. So if you can do that and have those opportunities, I think you're going to be successful on more times than not with Anthony Richardson and this offense.
So Richardson does throw that one interception. He was looking for Kylan Granson. He had man coverage, and after the game, Anthony just told us he thought he maybe overthrew it a little bit. A disappointing outcome just given the situation, being down in the red zone right there. The Colts in that spot, down 12-7 late in the second quarter. You're trying to get a little bit of momentum going into halftime. Obviously, the Colts were able to hold Houston toward the end of the half, but just a play that that's when you want to get cleaned up, the connection between the quarterback and the receiver. But again, one that this is where I think maybe we need to make sure we frame Anthony Richardson in a couple of different ways, Bill. Yes, it was a mistake. Yes, he missed the throw, but he's 22. He's making his 5th NFL start. He's still the youngest quarterback in the NFL now, 2 years running. And also, because he can access these explosive plays later in the game, one interception is not going to be backbreaking for the guy. Even if it came on one of only 19 passes, again, it's not going to break the Colts if he throws a pick. Even in the red zone, even if it's frustrating, even if it came after he missed an open receiver in the end zone, you're not going to lose a game because of that.
Well, the one thing I would say, though, is that you don't want to be in the red zone. Once you get in the red zone, you definitely want to score points, and you don't want to take points off the board by you making mistakes. But in saying that, yes, he's going to learn from that, and he'll grow, and he'll make plays where the team will be successful in the red zone, where they will score points, and he won't throw interceptions, or they won't turn the ball over. So yes, with his talent, and with not just his talent, but the talent around him, what they have on offense, they should be successful when they get in the red zone. I think they will be successful. One reason is because of his talent alone, because now, as we saw earlier, the one he ran in and scored on a touchdown, it's his talent where he can run and throw the ball as well. That's going to put defenses in the bind. So when you can put defenses in the bind and they don't know if you're going to run with him, JT, or you're going to throw the ball, it makes it difficult for them. So I think it helps the Colts having a talent like Anthony Richardson, once they get in the red zone, to be very effective and score some points.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the biggest keys, Bill, for me this year for the Colts is just improving in the red zone. They were bottom 10 in the NFL last year. For me, maybe my other takeaway from this game, so Anthony Richardson goes 9 of 19 for 212 yards. Bill, by the way, he became the first quarterback in the NFL since Brian Hoyer in 2014 to complete fewer than 10 passes and throw for over 210 yards in a single game.
Wow.
His stat line was pretty rare, what we saw out there.
Yes.
The Colts do need to improve their efficiency in between those explosive plays. Those can cover for a lot. But I thought Jonathan Taylor carrying 16 times for 48 yards, his longest run was only 7 yards in this game. That's an area the Colts need to improve. They need to be more efficient running the football. Ryan Kelly said, I talked to him after the game, and he said, we weren't quite able to spring JT on the second level. Yeah, he was getting some of those 6-7 yard plays, but we need those to turn into 20 or 30. When you do get it blocked up and get that extra block on the second level. So that's something the Colts can probably improve on. And obviously you'd like Richardson to complete more passes. You would like the completion percentage to be higher, but ultimately the explosive plays, to me, if you start with the explosive plays and then you start building that efficiency as the season goes on, there's a lot of room for growth there. And the ceiling with those explosive plays is it's sky high for this offense.
Exactly. In the previous years, we were talking about the Colts don't have as many explosive plays on offense. They aren't making explosive plays, not making plays down the field. But now we have the explosive plays. Now we just have to bring the consistency along with those explosive plays. Because if we can do that and be consistent and move the ball down the field, hit the receivers, run the ball efficiently and effectively with JT or whoever's back there and with AR as well. I think those are the things which makes you excited about this offense because we can't make those. We can't make them. We saw it today. We saw Alec make those plays. We saw Ashton Dulin make plays. We know when we get Josh Downs back, explosive plays there. We know about Pittman. So we know we can make explosive plays. That's not the issue. The issue is for us to make sure that we're consistent on the other opportunities that we have. When you have opportunities to be consistent and move the ball down the field or hit players or hit big running plays, that's what we need to do. And I think it will come. It's just a matter of the team cleaning up some of the mistakes they made today and then moving forward. And I think they will. I think they'll clean those things up. I think they'll be ready to play and be ready to go for next week.
Let's flip it over to defense here, Bill. Surprising, I think, is probably the word I would use to describe the Colts on defense today. They allowed Joe Mixon to gain 159 yards on the ground on 30 carries. He was the first running back in 56 games to have over 150 yards against this Colts defense. The last to do it, Derrick Henry, which happened in the year 2020. Bill, Mixon, I thought he ran with patience and vision, the kind of stuff you would expect out of an 8-year veteran, but that Nick Cross and Julian Blackmon accounted for 15 of the Colts' 34 tackles against the run. That's not really a very good sign for a run defense when your safeties are accounting for almost half of your tackles.
No, you don't want that. You don't want your safeties making that many tackles down the field because that means the running backs are getting downfield, the guys up front, defensive line, linebackers aren't making the plays to keep those runs to 2-3 yards or no yards by the opponent. So it's very, I was shocked. I would say that was probably the biggest shock I had today was the Colts run defense not playing as well as we know they can play and letting Joe Mixon rush for over 150 yards. Give the Texans credit, give Joe Mixon credit. As you said, he ran with pace and patience, but he also ran very hard and very physical out there today. So give them credit and give their O-line credit. They did a nice job. But I think that's something definitely the Colts front line, those guys up front, the linebackers are something that they're going to have to correct. And I think they will correct and be ready the next time they play, which is next week.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly was uncharacteristic for that front seven to allow the amount of rushing yards that they did today. By the way, last year, Houston combined in 2 games for 112 rushing yards against the Colts. So, there is a difference there. Joe Mixon now coming in from Cincinnati, a guy who, maybe had his struggles with efficiency as his career went on with the Bengals, but you get him behind a new offensive line and a new scheme. Houston clearly found something that worked against the Colts in this game. Now, I will say, I mean, the glass half full view here is last year, Houston had a top 10 run defense and the Colts ran all over them in both games. So one game does not define a season. DeForest Buckner said after the game, he's confident they got the right guys in the room, guys who have been dominant in the past to go fix it. He said, look, alarm bells are not going off now, but if we get to week 8, middle of the season and this is still happening, that's when it's a big problem. So let's give it some time. Let's give the Colts front some time to fix this. They're going to have to, though, because it's not sustainable. When in that fourth quarter, it really did feel like Houston could do what they wanted on offense to the Colts when they needed to take the air out of the ball and run it, and they were able to do it. The last 16 yards Joe Mixon gained on those 3 carries sealed the game for Houston. So you got to find a way to stop that.
Yeah, you have to stop the run because when you have a running game like that, that's what can seal a game for you. And they can kind of impose their will on you that, you know what, we're going to run the ball and there's nothing you can do. You can't stop it. And we're going to wear you out and we're going to keep your offense on the sideline. So when teams run the ball, it does a lot for that offense. It gives them more confidence. It also breaks the will of the defense. And it just, bottom line, it makes you tired. And when you're tired and you're don't have that much strength out there, they're going to impose their will and then run the ball down your throat and they're going to control the clock and they're going to seal the game away.
I thought the Colts had a decent game in coverage, like on the back end. Like, there were moments, certainly, but it didn't feel like those guys back there, the corners, Juju Brents, Jalen Jones, the safeties, Nick Cross, those 3 guys in particular didn't feel like they were a liability back there. They hit the one deep ball to Nico Collins,
Yep.
which what I mean, like that one, Bill. I mean, as a wide receiver, like don't you just kind of have to give him some credit on that one, or he went up and he out physicaled everyone on it.
Yeah.
You'd love to make a play on that, but my goodness, Nico Collins gets paid too. Like
Yeah.
it was a heck of a
Nico
play.
Collins made a nice play. He made a good play, and give him credit. Yes, he ran past Juju, but you know what? He made a nice play. Went up and got the ball, held on to it, and give him credit. Nico Collins is a good wide receiver. All
He's
right,
really, really good.
let's get that out of the way. He's a very good wide receiver, and give him credit where credit's due. And the catch he made on the sideline there at the end of the game to get the first down, that was good coverage by Jalen Jones. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
from my standpoint, I thought he was right there. Good throw by C.J. Stroud. Give them credit of making that play, of the throw and the catch, and Nico getting one knee down, which equals 2 feet. So give him credit. They got a first down out of it. So I thought for the most part, they did some good things back there as far as the corners playing some coverage back there. But you know what? Houston made enough plays to outscore the Colts.
By the way, that throw to Nico Collins on third down, that really sealed the game. Like
Yeah.
it took a couple runs from Joe Mixon after, but like that really sealed the game. That wasn't just a good throw, Bill. I would say that was a perfect throw. And CJ Stroud said after the game in his press conference that, what's that old saying? There's no perfect defense for a perfect throw. Like if that throw is not thrown with the precision that he threw it with, it's incomplete.
Oh,
And
by
the Colts are
far.
getting the ball back with 2 timeouts left and about 1:50 to go. That kind of throw, like I turned to Greg Rakestraw up in the PA booth and I go, that's the kind of throw that wins you divisions. Like all credit to CJ Stroud and to Nico Collins on that one. Jalen Jones could not have played that one any better. And that's one of those where you wish you didn't have to tip your cap to the opposing team, but you got to tip your cap there. That was an elite throw by CJ Stroud right there.
It was an elite throw by C.J. Stroud. Nice route by Nico Collins. Nice catch by Nico Collins. But to me, what that tells me is the coaching staff of the Houston Texans, they have a lot of confidence in C.J. Stroud, him being in the second year on that situation, third down. You know what? Do you want to punt? Take a chance on your defense as far as, if you have confidence in your defense, the defense can try to stop the Colts from going downfield and getting a field goal to win the game. That says a lot because if the ball's incomplete, clock stops, and what are you going to do from there? So give them credit. They have a lot of confidence in C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud has confidence in Nico Collins, and those guys made that play work and got him a first down.
So the one play from the secondary that I think really hurt was the holding on Jalen Jones in the end zone. That was a play. It was a 3rd and 8 on the Indy 8-yard line, 3rd and goal on the 8. And it was 15-13 at that point, early in the fourth quarter. CJ Stroud gets pressured. He rolls out. No one's there. He throws it. Kenny Moore II picks it off.
Wow.
But there was holding on the play. It looked like Jalen Jones. I think it was Tank Dell who he committed the infraction on. That was the one that I think you probably want back as a defense because there wasn't a whole lot there. But that was another one where Stroud made a lot of his plays, Bill, in this game when he escaped pressure outside the pocket. And the Colts got him down 4 times in this game. I thought the pass rush was pretty good as a whole. I think they maybe got to Stroud a little bit as the game went on. But ultimately, Stroud's ability to make plays even when he was forced outside the pocket, that put a lot of strain on the defensive backs. That put a lot of strain on the entire defense. And that one right there in particular, if you hold Houston to a field goal there, it's 18-13 instead of 22-13 in that moment. So that was a big difference there.
Yeah, when the quarterback has the opportunity to get out of the pocket and scramble, it puts a lot of stress on the secondary because as a wide receiver, I'm thinking, okay, my quarterback's out of the pocket. Let me go through my scramble drill principles and get open, try to find an open spot. Hopefully the quarterback sees me, it gets me the ball. But then everything else, as far as the defensive back is concerned, goes out the window because you're just chasing and our receivers are trying to find an open spot, and then guys are running around, kind of look like, playground football out there, but they make a play. CJ made a couple of those plays when they get out of the pocket and you scramble, and it puts stress on the secondary when the quarterback can get out of the pocket, and CJ Stroud does that well enough to put stress on the defense, and he can complete passes. He can throw the ball and run pretty well and get the ball to his receivers.
So, if you look at the game CJ Stroud had, he only had 2 completions at 20 or more yards, which I think is, generally encouraging that the Colts were able to kind of keep a lid on this attack, again, outside of that one deep ball to Nico Collins. So, you come out of it feeling probably better about the secondary than you maybe did coming into the game, but you come out of it feeling worse about the run defense than you did coming into the game. So hopefully the Colts can figure out some solutions to the run defense while keeping the play of the secondary at a level that isn't allowing a ton of explosives, that is making some more plays on the ball when they get the opportunity. The Juju almost having the interception down the sideline, he talked about it after the game, like, you think about the Kansas City-Baltimore game, where Isaiah Likely's toe was out of bounds, and that would have potentially won Baltimore the game. Well, Juju Brent's heel was just barely out of bounds on the sideline. And it's, people say it's a game of inches. It's usually a cliche, but in that moment, Bill, it comes down to just a quarter of an inch, and the Colts have a turnover there.
Exactly. You never know. One of my coaches used to always tell me, play every play like it's the last play, because you don't know which play is going to be the big play, and that's going to change the complexion of the game. And you know what? If Juju gets that in a couple of inches, he gets that, the game changes. So you never know what's going to happen out there. So yes, I mean, hopefully, and you talked about, the run defense wasn't as good as we wanted it to be. And maybe the pass defense in the secondary was a little bit better than we thought it was going to be. But now for them going forward, they need to put all that together. They need to continue to play well in the pass defense, and they need to do well in the run defense. I should improve on that in the run defense. If they can do those things from a defensive standpoint, they'll be fine. And then also from an offensive standpoint, making sure that we be a little bit more consistent on the plays that we need to make to get first down, 2nd and 8 or 3rd and 7. We need to get the first downs and complete some passes or run the ball a lot more effectively and efficiently during the game. So if we can kind of put those things together and let the special teams continue to make plays, blocking punts and doing things like that, then those are the things you want to do. And then that's when you say, okay, this team is really, really ready to go. And hopefully we'll see that throughout this season.
I was going to say 2 quick shout outs on special teams, Bill. Shegu Alubi coming up with a block punt, his 2nd blocked punt of his career. Just another really, really remarkable play. That really sent some momentum into the Colts when they needed it. And then Spencer Schrader. I mean, they didn't need him for a field goal, but guy hit all of his PATs. And, Matt Gay, it looked like Matt Gay was trying to give it a go in pregame, but ultimately came down to the Colts had to go with Spencer Schrader. And credit to him that he, hey, these are some big kicks. PATs are not chip shots anymore. And credit to him that he stepped up, and that wasn't an issue for the Colts today. So those 2 guys, just quick little shout outs on special teams.
Definitely. Yeah. Spencer did a nice job out there as far as kicking extra points. As you say, they're not chip shots like they used to be. You have to make them, and they have to, little, I would say there's some risk there, of course, as far as trying to make those kicks, but give him credit for that. And Alubi making a nice play there, blocking the punt, and give Coach Mason credit. Those guys get out there and make sure that they're trying to give those guys opportunity to make plays. And Coach Mason gave those guys opportunity to make a play, and Alubi made a play to block a punt. And it's turning point of the game, really. I thought it gave him some momentum for the Colts, but unfortunately wasn't enough to get them over the top.
Real quick on Brian Mason. This is a guy who, when he was at Notre Dame, I think they blocked a punt in like 5 straight games. He's got something to him on punt block. Like he's got some ideas that clearly work to block punts, because teams will go whole seasons, 3-4 year stretches without blocking a punt. And the Colts have now had 3 in the last 2 years. So credit there to Brian Mason.
Exactly. And as a player, that's what you want. You want to have an opportunity to make a play. We talk about special teams and people that play special teams. They want to go out there and be able to make a play, be able to make a splash play. And if the coach can put you in a position to make a play, that's all you want. And like I said earlier, all you want is an opportunity. And Alubi had the opportunity, and he made the play.
All right, well, that is going to do it for us here on this episode of Instant Reaction on the Colts Audio Network and on YouTube. Bill and I will be back next Sunday night after the Colts face the Jordan Love-less Green Bay Packers. Loveless, huh? That's going to play into some puns this week, I'm sure.
Yes, it will.
There's no love. Well, no, I'm not going to go that far. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Instant Reaction. The Colts lose week 1 to the Houston Texans. But again, Bill and I will be back next Sunday after the Colts face the Green Bay Packers. In between, please subscribe to us on the Colts Audio Network. Rate and review us. We love seeing those 5-star reviews come in. Watch us on YouTube, the official Colts podcast. Back there on Tuesday and Thursday on the Colts Audio Network. We got Colts Roundtable Live coming up on Monday. Inside Football with Rick Venturi on Wednesday. And the 2-minute drill with myself and Amanda Foster on Friday. And then again, Bill and I will be talking to you again Sunday night after the Colts get back from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Until then, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. So long.